Hello, welcome to the stream. It's been a while. I don't think I streamed last week, so it's been a little bit for me. Hope everyone has been doing well. I can see a few people already in. So today's stream is about the resource management template and the new Impact Game Jam theme that was announced yesterday. So what I'm going to do is just bring that up for those who haven't seen it. This is it over here. So we have a game jam that's starting. I think you get like 2 or 3 weeks for this one. I'll put the link in the chat. And here you can see we've got various prizes like 50,000 sand, 20 lands, catalysts. You get top 10 prize and honorable mention up to 10. So there's a lot of sand and land to be won. And I think the theme is written here somewhere. Let's just have a quick look. Maybe it's lower. I haven't really checked this out first. I should have. Okay, still can't find it. Maybe it wasn't written here, or I'm missing the info. But to give you a breakdown of what you need to do for this game jam is you need to make a resource management sort of game. And the resource management needs to be based on the UN sustainable goals. So the UN sustainable goals are these 17 goals, as you can see written here. You can type that into Google or whatever your favorite search engine is and bring up the types of goals that the UN has put words for and numbers next to, so you can interpret that any way you want and put it into a resource management game. Now, popular resource management games are games like RimWorld. There are games like Oxygen Not Included, Factoro. We even got a popular one in the sandbox called Trendy Factory. It's just a matter of juggling resources, unlocking new buildings, which then you can get new resources, and basically just chain resources pretty much. And that is pretty much the goal of this game jam. So do plan your resource management games. Do check out other similar games in this category to get an idea of what you can do and try to implement those. If you do need help with the game or need some help with the logic, please join our forum Sandbox website. I will put a link into the chat. And here you can get help or give feedback or request features. A lot of other very talented builders and artists are in here and are helping out with tutorials and answering questions and all sorts of things. So if you ever need help, do sign up here and have a look at our wonderful new forum that we have that has a lot of resources and tools and things to be of use. It's quite easy to navigate. You can see the unread ones, you can see the top. So you can see all sorts of things here. So if you want to learn quick about projectiles and key bindings in version 10 of Game Maker, you can see Dan Coy has made a tutorial based on that. So you can click on that and watch some videos. You've got Gigas's videos here as well. So all sorts of things are happening inside of this forum. Awesome. Now let's jump into Game Maker. In Game Maker, you can go to Templates up on the top. And here you got Resource Management. Now, this is a template I put together in a short period of time. This was the shortest time I was given for a template, so do apologize if it's not as deep as it could be, but I have developed some new logic which is quite good in my own honest opinion, which is scalable, and I'll jump in and show you straight away. We'll call that resource management RM, and we'll go ahead and create that experience. I'll go through the template and explain the logic and how else you can apply it to your games. And it's not just for resource management, but it's for a whole bunch of games. And hopefully you get inspired to use something that you see in this template in your own ideas and creations. Hey Pickaxe, welcome to the stream. Hope everyone's been well. What's everyone been up to? Just still loading in? Alright. So I'm going to quickly play a quick example of this game, and then we're going to show you how to edit the logic and how it all works. So you've got the logic floor. Logic floor, you can take the logic floor to see what each of the numpads do. I have a description of what the numpads in front of the panel are, so if you want to edit something in particular in a map, you know where the numpad is to edit it. So here it's about the atmosphere. Here you can change the day and night cycles and the time it takes to go between day and night. So if you want to do anything with those logic, it's just here in front of there. Next we have sound and victory logic. So if you want to change the sounds, the music that plays during the day and night cycle, or you want to change the message for victory or defeat, this is the numpads here to have a look at. Enemy portal logic. You will see that during gameplay the enemies come out of portals before they run towards or slowly walk I should say, towards the center of the map. This logic here is for enemy 1, 2, 3 and 4. When it comes out of the portal, there's a timer that triggers and then closes the portal. It's all for the animation purposes. Game menus, so the text that you see at the start, that's all here, pretty self-explanatory. Enemy spawn rates, so each night enemies spawn quicker and quicker. So there are 12 days, each numpad represents a day, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You just have to click on that to change the amount of enemies you want to come out during the night cycle. And the top numpad here is the message that gets sent to the rule system to spawn the enemy. Here is the enemy. You can change the health and the speed that it walks towards the base if you wanted to use this sort of technique in your game. You don't have to use this at all. It's just something I made for this template as an example. Here you got the gold rate and damage to the base. So the more enemies that are in the middle, like in the square, I'll show you later, the more damage it does per second to the base. And the rate of gold that you get is 1 per second. If you want to change that, you can do that on the numpad here. We have our resources below. So you got our wood, our stone, our metal, you got your advanced production, you got your diamond factory, and you got turrets that you can build to defend your base. So with the turrets, you can select each one to change your damage and your rate of attack. You can change the look of the turret and then save over the preset. Same with the advanced factories. When you place these down, new things become unlocked, such as new buildings or new resource swapping, that sort of thing. And with all these resources here, you have a box, and that box, when you drop it, spawns the resource that is sitting behind it. And once that resource comes out, you start obtaining resources based on the asset that popped out. You can save over the presets with your own custom assets to make it look cool for your game. So we'll jump into the game. I just made an easy mode. I didn't have time to do other accumulative modes. You can do medium and hard, which then you can add faster and more HP minions, or you might need to collect, I don't know, say 1,000 diamonds before 10 days is up. So whatever your resource management type of game is aiming for, you can add more modes or change the mode here. So the basics of the game is to construct factories at your base to produce resources. Utilize these resources to purchase turrets to defend your base. At night your base will come under attack, and if your health drops to 0 you lose. Pretty easy concept. The interface, so you can see your health for your base, is up at the top. The time of day here is on the left, and the resources that you have is at the bottom. At the moment we only have gold. So go ahead and start our game. You come here to build, so press 1 to build a factory. You can see it costs 25 gold. At the bottom you can see we're getting 1 gold a second, and when we press 1 you can see that we have built our wood factory. Now when it's green you can place it down, when it's red you can't. I did that to kind of stop stacking of buildings. You can't build a building on top of each other non-stop. You kind of have to spread them out. So when I place this down, you'll see that we are now producing wood at the bottom and new factories have been unlocked. So we can now go to our base and you can see we can build a stone factory, which now requires 15 gold and 15 wood, and we can build an advanced building. We'll go ahead and build a stone factory and place that down. And you can see now at the bottom we are now accumulating stone. Now we got access to a metal factory. We don't have enough resources to build that yet, but we can build a advanced building, so we'll go ahead and build that one. We'll place that down. So with the advanced building you can build other buildings that give more resources. So you can see we've got an advanced wood factory and an advanced stone factory. So building these ones will give more per second than the other ones. We can also build turrets. They are now unlocked with the arms dealer, so we can go to the arms dealer and build a turret. And as you can see, more resources need to be managed to purchase things and to upgrade things. So if we go ahead and build a diamond factory, place this down, now we can swap resources for diamonds. Diamonds are the only way to accumulate them is to sell existing resources. So you need to sell wood and stone to your marketplace guy to get cash in order to purchase diamonds. And also the arms dealer will give you turrets, and level 1 and level 2 turrets, and you can see we're being attacked. So when it becomes daytime these guys will die and disappear, but we can keep building things and ignore that for the time being, because it's easy mode and you won't lose all your base health in the first few days. But if you want to build a turret, you go ahead and build one and you place that down, and that will defend your base from around this area. So yeah, and you can build advanced buildings which generate more resources, and they have a halo around them of color, so you know that they're an advanced building. So your wood will go up a lot faster than any other resource, and then you can sell your wood. So when you get 250 wood you can sell it for gold. The only way to get gold is to sell your resources, or you only get 1 per second by default. So there's all different ways you can do resource management games. This is just one example. It does have a little bit of a tower defense element to it, but it doesn't have to. It's just something that I come up with quite quickly and was able to put together in time for you guys to use the logic that I put together. Cool. Now let's go into the logic. Awesome. Okay, so let's come down here. Let's click on the wood. On the basic wood, we have messages that get sent to the rule system. Here we get 1 wood per second. So if we go and edit the logic, this is the message being sent to the rule system. The message is called resources. it's sending all of these resources to the rule system. We got 1 wood per second, and it goes on forever. So once this is placed, we're getting 1 wood per second. You can change that to 10. You can change that so it happens every 10 seconds or every 0.5 seconds. So you can edit the type of resource rate on the actual resource itself. So when you click advanced wood production, you can see we're getting 4 wood a second. So we're getting 4 times the amount than the basic one. Same thing with stone. It's using the same message called resources, and you're getting 1 stone per second. Any advanced stone, you're getting 4 per second. Same thing with the numpad at the bottom of the metal. You're getting 1 metal every 2 seconds. And this one over here, you're getting 2 metal every second. So if you want to change the type of resource or the rate of it, you can do it in this message. If you want to do a whole new set of materials, you need to create a new message argument. So just say you want to do, say, space materials for your game. You click the bottom one to create a message argument, and then you can add. And then you add as many as you want. You do number, and you can do space rock, and then click add, and you can do energy, and then click add. So that's what I did for all of these resources: cash, wood, stone, metal, gold, food, power. I don't use all of this in this template. It was just to show you an example, or you can expand and use power or cash, which is not in this game, or food, that sort of thing. So go ahead and click food, and here we've created 3 different resources which all send the message space materials. But with the message resources, that gets sent to the rule system. So let's go to the rule system, and what we want to do is add resources. So we're going to go down to the resource section. You can see that our message here is resources, exactly what's being sent by the resource itself. And we've just got a math rule, which is wood, which is the message argument here is wood. Add the variable wood, which is how much wood we currently have, to equal the total amount of wood. So we're basically just adding wood each time the message resource is sent, which has a value inside of wood. This happens with stone as well. So each time the message resource is sent, it gets sent to all of these, and then it checks the variable in wood, stone, metal, gold, and diamonds. And you can see above here, diamonds, gold, metal, stone, and wood. They're all categorized and labeled, and now we'll add that resource to your result, which is how you increase your resource. You can add more to this. You can just duplicate this, and then you keep the same message or resource here. You can change the message argument. So if we say this one's resources, we have cash, we have food, we have gold, we have power, which is anything that was in here. And then you just create a variable called power. There is none in here. You'll need to create it over here called number, and just call it power. And then you select power and power, and done. So when we send a message resources with a value inside power, it will add that value to the variable power to give you extra power. That's one way to add resources, but you need to plan what you want as resources at the beginning of your creation, because once you create a message argument, you can't add any more resources to it. You'll need to recreate the message argument, a new one, and then change over all the ones in the that use that message to the new message, so it has the updated variable that you wanted to add. Same with the marketplace. When you sell in a marketplace, you're selling wood, and you're selling stone, and you're selling metal. And basically what's happening here is we're checking to see if our wood is greater than and equals to the message argument of selling wood. So that we want to see if you have 250 wood to sell in the first place. If you do, it will send a message argument, and that message argument here will minus 250 from the wood source. And it will give you 125 gold because you sold it for gold. And that message resource gets sent up here, and it does all the calculations necessary with the resource message. Now, the biggest thing in this template, which I created and was really happy that I discovered, is the purchasing. Okay, the purchasing is very, very powerful. Here we have, just say we want to buy something, and to buy something, it will cost 200 gold, 100 wood, 100 stone, 50 metal, 10 diamonds. And we want to check if we have all of those resources in order to buy it. And if we don't have all the resources, how do we send a message to display to the player, you can't buy this because you don't have enough stone, or you can't buy this because you don't have enough metal. This is the way to do it. So I have my 5 resources: gold, wood, stone, metal, and diamond. What I've done is I've created 2 variables, one for your actual gold, wood, stone, metal, diamond, and then another one for the cost. So the cost is the check. So we've got wood cost, gold cost, stone cost, diamond cost, metal cost. And basically what we're doing is when we send a message purchase, I'll go and find something that says purchase. I think maybe where is it? Where can I show you an example of purchase? It's probably all in presets. So let me bring out a preset that might have it. So advanced buildings definitely will have it. Now this preset comes out when it's necessary. So when a building is available, a message will be sent to a asset spawner here to bring out these presets. These presets here have the indicator, so the text that you see to indicate to the player you can build it by pushing number 4 and how much it will cost. If we go to this asset here, we want to purchase this building. So let's edit the logic. When we send a message to this asset, which is the message 4, so when I push 4 on the keyboard, this message gets sent. It sends a message purchase to the rule system. It has the cost of the purchase. So the purchase is going to cost 15 gold. So what's happening here is now purchase is setting the value to whatever the values are here. So cash will be 0, wood will be 0, stone will be 0, metal will be 0. Gold is set to 15. So what's happening now is that we're saying the cost of this upgrade is now 15 gold and everything else is 0. After that happens, there's a bit of a delay between the setting and checking. Now it's going to check. So once the purchase has been sent, it's going to now check here. It's going to check to see if you have gold. Is your gold that you're holding greater than the value of the gold cost? So do I have 15 or more gold, pretty much? If I do, it will check wood. Is wood greater than the variable wood cost? Wood cost would be 0, so it would naturally say yes. Then it will check stone. Is it greater than the stone cost? Stone cost will be 0 as well, as we set the cost for 0. But if it says 100 and it checks and we only had 90, it would not proceed. It will say that we don't have enough stone. I'll show you that logic below. But if we did have enough stone, it goes to metal, and it checks the metal, and then it checks the diamonds, and if all of those are exactly higher than what's set into the variable of the cost, then we have purchase success. The message purchase success gets sent out, and it comes out over here, purchase success, and then it brings out the preset, the box. So the box is the building that we place down, so that is our reward or our product that we've purchased using the message for purchase. Once the asset comes out with purchase success also gets sent down to all of these math rules, and basically what's going to happen is it's going to subtract the cost of the item that we just bought from our total. So it's going to say gold subtract the cost for that item equals gold. So basically whatever our gold is, we're going to take away whatever was in the message variable, message argument, and that variable was 15 gold. So it'll take 15 away from gold. It won't take anything away from wood, stone, metal, or diamonds because their value is 0 here in the message broadcaster. If we don't have enough of the resource, so just say we're checking for stone and we don't have enough stone, it won't go check in the metal. What will happen is it will come over here and say, oh, you have less stone than what we need for the cost. We're going to send a message, and that message is a message argument, and the message argument is a text. So we're sending a text, not enough stone. And these message arguments have individual text based on their resource, so not enough gold, not enough metal, and that all gets sent to this failed transaction text. So we're setting a text variable with the message argument in here, and then we're displaying it on a banner. So they're all using the same messages here. This one is setting the text value. This one is sending the text that should be in this text value, and then the banner is going to display what's in that text value for 1 second. So you will always see what sort of resource you're missing if you can't purchase it. And that's always useful to the player to know why they can't buy something if it requires multiple ingredients. This is really good for crafting systems. This is good for scaling purchases. You can have 100 different things to buy inside your game and not need to add any extra rules, as long as they all use the same resources. So if you decide to have 5, 6, or 7 different types of resources, you just add 2 more of these, you add 2 more checks, you add 2 more subtracts, and 2 more not enoughs, and then you can use this as many times as you want in the game maker using message broadcasters, and you can have literally hundreds of different items without needing to add anything else to the rule system. Just this logic alone handles everything. So I hope that makes sense, because this is pretty much required in your game to scale it up nicely, so you can build, I don't know, as many resources or different buildings as you need or want to unlock. And this is at the very bottom of the template, so just look at the last section under set resource cost. So we've got sell resources, we've got add resources, we've got key inputs. So we are using the keyboard logic 1, 2, 3, and 4. They send a message 1, 2, 3, and 4 when they are pushed. They are the interaction keys we let the player use to purchase upgrades instead of using the asker. This allows easy, quick interactions, and also you can expand that to 9 keys and use the mouse clicks and all sorts of things. So you're not limited just to 4 options in an asker. You can really display it differently, like I have in this game, and really access things a lot quicker without needing to press E to interact, and then selecting an option once the asker pops up, which is quite a bit of a delay. Enemy counter and base damage. So this is all to do with the enemy being inside the base perimeter. So I'll go ahead and bring up the base perimeter. So we have a trigger volume, and it's going to listen for the enemy tag, the tag prey in this box, which is our enemy. When an enemy walks into this box, it will send a message +1 to the rule system. When an enemy leaves the box, it's going to send a message to -1 to the rule system. So when they die or when it becomes daytime and they disappear, it will set this back to 0 because there'll be no more enemies inside the box. If there is an enemy in the box, that means the base is taking damage. So basically you want to avoid the enemy walking into this parameter. You can expand that or decrease that as you need based on this detection area. If we move this out of the way, there is another volume here. So this one here is stop. Basically any triggering actor that walks at this box will get the message stop. That is to stop the enemies coming towards the base, because I'm using a basic platform, so it's just going to keep walking forever. But if it is near the center, it gets the message stop and it turns off that basic platform, so it keeps still. That's pretty much the reason for it. So yeah, next we have our, we'll go back to our rules. So enemy RNG. So a message gets sent based on the day it is to the rule system, and it generates a random number between 1 and 4. When it picks a number between 1 and 4, we're going to send a message to a comparison. So we're going to have 4 comparisons, and each comparison is going to check for RNG enemy, which is what was set here by the RNG system. And we're going to check to see if it equals 1, 2, 3, or 4. If it equals 1, we send enemy 1. If it equals 2, we send enemy 2. 3 equals 3, 4 equals 4. And let me show you where that goes. So around each section of the map, there are, I'll just move this out of the way. There is a basic platform that moves back and forth. So there's one on the north side, there's one down here, which comes down to the right side, and that goes up and down. And there's one over here, which is going to the bottom side, and then there's another one that goes up and down here. So if we go to the hierarchy, I have, well, I'll get rid of these assets here because these aren't part of it, but I have labeled everything and put everything in folders to make it easier for you guys to navigate and find things. So we have enemy spawners here. So if we bring this down, you can see here we have our top portal and our enemy spawner. So we can check our enemy spawner and edit the logic. And you can see here spawn enemy 1 is what's used to bring out enemy 1 from the asset spawner attached. And that asset spawner is attached to a basic platform. You can see a basic platform brings the asset spawner with it. And what comes out of the asset spawner is this enemy, and the enemy is just basically an invisible basic platform that goes straight with an animated and health on a copy of it pretty much. Since this is a basic platform, I had to use a little trick to get every enemy to go to the center. And the way I did that is with this enemy spawner here, I gave it a speaker, And with the speaker, I gave it a really large detection range. And the purpose of that is to detect the bass and to always look at the bass. So as this basic platform is moving up and down, the speaker is consistently looking at the bass. So it's always facing it. So when an asset gets spawned out of the asset spawner, the basic platform is already on a direct path to the center. So it will never go off from the center. It will always go directly to the center. Because I have the detections here in the middle, it will turn off that basic platform and start damaging the base once it reaches the middle. So I really liked that little find as well. This little trick here can be used for a lot of different things, so let me give you some inspiration here. You can have the speaker and the asset spawner be attached to a pickable, and that pickable can shoot with a key of your choice, and then you can have that speaker always looking at a particular target. So you can have like an auto aim, or you can have something that doesn't miss if you're too close. So if you are running around with a gun but you're walking into a area and there is a target, you can have the speaker look at that target with the tag, so when you shoot at it from the asset spawner, it goes directly to that target because it's already looking at it. So you can do things like that. So using this sort of these two functions together, the speaker that looks for the tag and the asset spawner or projectile, could be very useful. Alright, enemy spawn rates. So here, this should go down to, oh, whoops, already messing things up. Alright, so this is our enemy spawn rate. On the first night, this number here is how often enemies get sent. So there's one every 30 seconds, that's for day one. So you won't see many come out at night time on the first day. The next day it's every 25 seconds, the next day it's every 15 seconds, the next day is every 10 seconds. And what's happening here is when this gets toggled on with the correct message, which gets sent from the rules, I'll show you that in a moment. So day 4, this message broadcaster starts ticking, and it forever sends a message every 9 seconds to a message RNG send to all. Now this thing here is what's listening for that. So it's listening for RNG send. When it receives that message, it will send a message to the rule system, which will then roll a number between 1 and 4, and then whichever number is rolled, it will send out a message to one of these asset spawners. So 1, 2, 3, or 4. So each game that you play, the enemies will be spawned randomly from different directions. You don't know which way they're coming based on this sort of system. When it's nighttime, it turns on. When it's daytime, it turns off, because we don't spawn any enemies during the daytime in this game here. And you can easily change that by selecting and changing the rate. And as you can see, the last night, there's an enemy spawning every second. Here you got all the presets. So presets, you can see all the wood. If you want to change the basic wood or the advanced wood, you can go in there and have a look. You can change the text that's displayed, that sort of thing. Arms dealer as well. There's all the logic attached to that to turn off the UI and turn on the UI. So active property switcher. Here you have an option called UI visibility, and UI visibility, you can toggle that on and off with visibility true or false. And what that UI visibility means is the speaker. So if I go ahead to an indicator, you can see the display name, and that display name will be above the asset, and you can toggle that on and off using the active property. So that's what the UI visibility means. So I've got a few assets here. This one here is basically just detecting if a building has been placed down for the first time. Once it's been placed down, it sends a message to an asker to say basically, hey, you got now unlocked this, and this is what this does. So if you want a message to pop up for the player so they know something has happened when they place something down or have bought something, this is the way to do it. You just have a speaker that's detecting a particular tag, and that detection covers the whole board. So when I build a diamond factory, this speaker detects the diamond factory, then sends a message, kill diamond text. It only does it once, and then it also goes to the asker. There's a chain reaction that happens here, but it comes to the asker and then it displays the text for the player. So they're like, oh, all right, I've unlocked something. This is what it does. Awesome. It's a good idea to tell the player when something is happening, and also use sound indicators when they're doing exchanges or purchasing things, so the player actually knows what's happening, or they've triggered something and it actually worked. Okay, so any questions? I'll go back to the rules here and quickly show the last parts. So the HUD here, the HUD changes or adds the resource as the resource is bought. So when I buy a wood factory, the wood resource is added, as you can see here, using that asker. And was it an asker? I think I used a trigger volume and I spawn it. So same with the stone, same with the metal, same with the diamond. I add the HUDs as they go along. You don't want to flood the information at the very start so your player is overwhelmed. You want to introduce things one at a time, and I show that as an example in this template. So when you build wood, you let the player know they are now generating wood, and there's now a new counter at the bottom that they can look at to see that they've got wood. If you put wood, stone, metal, diamond all at the start, it could be overwhelming. The player won't know when things are being accumulated or when to look. So it's a good idea to introduce things slowly, and this is how you do it. Just use multiple HUDs and bring it in one at a time. Time cycle. I have a message that gets sent called plus time. It adds 10 to the minutes variable. When there's 60 minutes to the time, it takes away 60 from the minutes and adds 1 hour to the hour. Then it checks to hours, and if the hours is greater than 24 or equals to, it's going to take away 24 from the hours and add 1 to the day. So it's basically a time cycle calculation. So you can have minutes, hours, days, all that sort of stuff. I've put it on the left hand side. Minutes are there, it's just not being displayed. But if I go ahead to click the third one here, I can go ahead and add my minutes, and I'll type in minutes. And now when I play the game, you can see on the left hand side I have now added the minutes, and you can see that working. And once it hits 60, you can see that it takes away 60 from the minutes, so it starts again and adds 1 to the hour. So it works as a clock in some sort of format. Don't need to have a clock in your game. Just add in these functions in there because there's many different ways to do resource management. And some of them require a clock or a time cycle, so that logic is in there for you. And if you want to change the rate of the time or how quickly these minutes are calculated, let me show you where you can do that. So the first part here, you can change the daytime and the nighttime, and in the middle here you can add time. So you can add the duration. So I'm adding time plus time to the rules every second. So if I go to the rules now, you can see plus time. I'm not really paying attention to the message argument, so I can go to message argument and it will use the variable inside time, which will mean it will be +1, or I can do a fixed value, which is 10, which is what I did here. But you can do message argument, and now if I press tab, it's going to go up by 1 every second because it's using the variable in the message argument. So you can change how quickly you want it to get to 60. If you want 1 second to be 1 minute in game, this is the settings to use. I wanted to speed things up because I found that too slow. So every second in real life is 10 seconds in the game, or I should say 10 minutes in the game. And yeah, after 6 seconds it becomes 1 hour. So yeah, that's the time function. And then when it hits 1 day and it adds 1 day, it checks season. So I don't know if I kept that, but you're able to do seasons. But I also here have add 1 day, and it will equal, if it equals 1, it will send a message day 1. If days equals 2, it will send a message day 2. So as the days progress, a message gets sent out at the start of each day. You can use these messages to trigger RNG events or particular things that happen on particular days. Maybe you have like a big boss fight that happens, or a meteor falls from the sky, or a fire starts, or I don't know, maybe a full moon happens and everything goes all crazy. But you got a message here to send on each particular day. If you want to do something with that. I didn't really use this besides using the enemy counter, but yeah, that's all in there for you as well. I use day 10 to say you survived 10 days. And there's a cycle for the days and nights. So if the hours equals the value of 12, it's going to be nighttime. When the hours equals 23, it's going to turn into daytime, and you can change that as much as you want. So if you don't want enemies to come out half day and then half night, and you want a shorter night, you can change that to 15, and then when it's the 15th hour, then it will turn nighttime. So you can do all different things there with the time, and this is back to the RNG of the enemy. So basically went through the whole template and the whole map and all the logic. So it's all here with the boxes as well. The boxes are pickable. When you drop it, it's going to send a message to spawn building. And it will spawn building here, and it will bring out the building that's attached, which is the bunch of wood behind it, which will start gathering resources. This message won't trigger if the toggle is red, but if the toggle is green, it will work. And basically this square here will send out that toggle. So if it's inside a tag that's labeled as a building, it will toggle red and it won't let you place down this building. So it's looking for a building. It will turn red, which means you can't place down this building to swap it for a building resource. You have to move away from the other buildings in order to toggle this on. So if you look at this resource here, you scroll down, it has the building tag. So you can't put wood stacks on top of each other. You have to build away from each other. Same with these NPCs. I put the building tag on them, so you can't build on top of them. Or maybe you can glitch it in some sort of format, but the average player will not do that because it's not letting them. So they'll just usually abide by the logic that's obvious. But yeah, there's a lot of different rules to play with. There's a lot of different things you can do with the rules and change and add. But as I said, I would highly recommend you to study this set resource cost, then check the resource, subtract the resource, and display the failed transactions. If you can take anything from this template, this would probably be the holy grail, because you can do unlimited purchasing from message arguments, from message broadcasters, and you don't need to add anything else to the rules. You don't need to create a set of rules for purchasing this item and a set of rules for purchasing that item. You can just all clunk it into the one. Alrighty. I hope that's been enlightening for you guys. I hope that you don't do tower defense game. It's more to do with resource management, and that there's enough information here for you to come up with something. I do recommend again to study other resource management games such as I don't know, like Don't Starve and Oxygen Not Included and RimWorld and all those sort of games. There's quite a few, and tie it into some UN sustainable goals, and you're looking good. Again, join the Sandbox forum if you need any help with logic. There's plenty of people there ready to answer your questions and help you out with logic that you may need or are curious to know. Or if there's any features that you want, you can recommend it there as well. But it does need a bit of studying. There is some things that you need to learn, like with everything. If something's new and you haven't seen it before, you need to play around with it, you need to understand it, and the more you understand it, the easier it is to shape things to your vision. When you're just seeing my template and you don't really understand everything and don't know what resource management games are or any logic in that area, it's going to be daunting. I understand that. But you do need to do some homework. You do need to look at some games that are similar to this genre and get some inspiration on what you want to do, and then see how my logic can help you in that area. Work out all the resources that you want in your game at the beginning. So for instance, the game Trendy Factory, which can be found on our gallery page in the Sandbox website, they use cash, they use wool, they use sewing kits, boxing, building a trendy, so that you got to work out all those resources, electricity as well. And once you know all those resources, then you can work out how you're going to juggle them, and then what sort of logic you need to put in for the message arguments and the rule system. It's nice to have a theme sorted as well. I think you get a bit of extra time in this one. Usually game jams are 2 weeks. I think this goes to the 20th, so let me just have a look. No, it's a bit past that, isn't it? 28th, so maybe 3 weeks. That's pretty good. Got plenty of time, and we're here to help as well. So if you have any questions, reach out. I'm always there to help. But I think that's it, guys. Unless you have any questions before I head off, let me know now, or forever hold your peace. Looking quiet in the chat. I guess everyone's all good. My friend, can you show me how we can copy a rule to a new map so we can use those in our maps? Yep, that's quite easy. So you go to the rule system, you click on what you want and click Control C. Control C on the keyboard will copy. Then you can open up a numpad and you can do Control V. And there is the logic for that rules. All you need to do now is open up a new experience. You can do Control A to highlight all, Control C to copy, then you go into the rule system and then you just do Control V to paste. And there you go. Now it's pasted all the logic with the message argument and everything attached. So if you wanted to copy more things from the rules, you just click on this one here and you click Control C, and I recommend doing a new numpad, but you can space it out and go Control V, but you can't Control C and Control V all of it. You have to do one set at a time. Or you can drag the whole lot into one set if you're feeling a bit lazy, and then it will be all in this one set, and you can Control C, open up the numpad and Control V, and that's all in there for you. So now when I copy that over, I don't know, to a new map, and I could Control V, it should paste those rules in here. There you go. So it's pasted those new rules, and it's got, you can see all of the math evolved and everything. So Control C, Control V for your copy and pasting of the rules. Quite useful. So you don't have to use my map. You can Control C and Control V the logic in numpads, in notepads. I've got numpads on my mind, and bring it into your experience. And it should come with the message arguments as well. If you want your own resources, you just change the message argument to what I showed you earlier, to your own new ones, and then you just change the names of the variables into what you need. Cool beans. Well, thanks for joining today, guys. Appreciate it. Again, if you have any questions, reach out. Happy to help. And good luck in this game jam. Have a good day. Bye-bye.